Hello BookTube, welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth, and it's time for Friday Reads. Well, today as I'm filming this, it's actually still Thursday, but I want to go ahead and get this video filmed because I have not done a June TBR yet, and I have a lot of books on my June TBR. In fact, I'm already reading 6 of them, so I want to let you know what I'm reading. And also to let you know, because I've mentioned to a couple of you that I am going to be taking a little time off this summer. Not quite yet. I've still got several videos that I have filmed and I have yet to film that I will be getting uploaded in the next several days. But I am going to be taking off hopefully 6 weeks between now and Booktubeathon because I have a lot of projects I need to do at home, but more about that later. I also have a little giveaway planned, and so I'll do a whole little video about my hiatus and my giveaway and all of that. But for now, I need to tell you what I'm reading in June. Now, I'm doing the same thing I did last year for June, which is a challenge to read big books. If you follow my channel for any length of time, you know that I like fun alliterations and themed reading and stuff like that. So I started this last year because I had read a bunch of small books in May, thanks to the middle grade May Reads Readathon and RibSat that happened to fall during May of 2016. And so I ended up reading what amounted to a book a day in May. So I planned to do that this year, and I did. And in fact, I have already filmed my wrap-up for that, which should be coming out shortly. So last year, because I had read all the small books in May, I decided that I would make June my month of big books. And at the time I wasn't even officially a part of the Big Book Challenge. Now I am. I have a challenge to read 30 big books, and I've already read quite a few. I figured since I devoted a whole month to reading small books, I should devote a whole month to reading big books. So in planning my TBR, I looked through all of my lists of 17, and I pulled out and made a list of every book that was 400 pages or more. Then I got to thinking, what if they have Tome Topple again later in the year? Because last year it fell in June. The very first Tome Topple was in June, which was perfect because I was already reading big books anyway. So I looked within my big books that are 400 pages or more, and I made a little note by the ones that are 500 pages or more, and I picked out a few of those to save for Tome Topple because I don't want to read all my 500 page books and only have 400 page books left and then have nothing to read for the next Tome Topple. So there are several that are on my list of potential books for this month that more than likely I will hold and wait and see if there's going to be another Tome Topple readathon later on in the year. But at least one book that I'm reading right now that I've already started is over 500 pages because I promised my daughter I would make an attempt to finish the Harry Potter series this year. So I am in the middle of book 5 right now. I'm listening to it on audio in my car. I am listening to the version that is narrated by Jim Dale, and I am currently on page 270 of 870. So I still have 600 pages to go. I'm really enjoying it. Like I said, I'm listening to it in the car. It is on CD from the library, and there are 23 discs. I started it on June 1st, and I've been able to keep up with doing about a disc a day. Now today I'm not really going anywhere in the car, so even though I'm caught up, tomorrow I'm going to be behind. So you know, hopefully I will catch up, or maybe I'll just sit down with the book and read some. I don't know. Either way, as long as I get done by the end of the month, that's fine. If I get this one done sooner than I think I will, then I may go ahead and start the next one. But I do have one other book on CD that I would like to listen to in the car, or I might just go ahead and start it in my kitchen. I don't know. But I don't want to read all 3 Harry Potter books this month because, again, what if there's a Tome Topple later? So I'm going to definitely save at least one Harry Potter book for the next Tome Topple. And if it looks like there's not going to be another one this year, then I'll probably go ahead and finish it at some point later in the year. But so far, The Order of the Phoenix, I am really enjoying. This is my first read-through of Harry Potter. I read the first couple of books last year, and my daughter first read them in July. She's already read through them twice. It took her about 6 weeks to read them all twice. She's a fast reader. And in the time it took me to read the first one once, so she had already read like all of them twice. She's been after me to get this series finished already, and the last 3 Harry Potter books are on her list of 17 books that she wants me to read this year. So I'm doing it. The other series that I had thought about going ahead and trying to finish this month is the Shenandoah Album series by Emilie Richards. I have collected all 5 of these books. I've already read the first one, so I have 4 left. And the one I'm currently reading, I am almost halfway done, and it is under 500 pages. But I looked ahead and I saw that all 3 of the other books are over 500 pages. So I may go ahead and save 2 of these for Tome Topple and go ahead and read the second one, which I just bought on eBay. I'm so excited to have this. And so this one's called Lover's Knot, and more than likely I will save these 2 for later in the year. But this is a series that I have on my list of 17 series to finish this year. You know, not because it would be easy or quick to finish, but because I have collected them now and I enjoyed the first one so much that I just want to read these. They're really good so far, and I am just excited to get them read. And speaking of books that Katie wants me to read, I have started A Light by Scott Sigler. This is the second book in the Generations trilogy. I am going very slow in this one. I have only read 2 chapters. I think on Goodreads it says that I've read 4% of this book. At this rate, I won't finish it by the end of the month, so I got to pick up my pace just a little bit. As of right now, I guess because I'm trying to juggle 6 different books, I haven't allotted very much time for this, but when I finish a couple of these that I already have started, I will probably pick up the pace in this one a little bit. But the third book in this series, which is called Alone, it is also over 500 pages. So of my list of big books, that's the only other one that is over 500 pages that I will probably save for a future Tome Topple. Because last Tome Topple I was able to read 5 books that were 500 pages or more. So I got to be sure I save at least 5 500-page books for that readathon. Now, before you start writing and asking me when is the Tome Topple, I don't know. I'm just thinking ahead because I've got my TBR planned out for the whole year, and this is a just in case kind of thing. Alright, so I've got 2 buddy reads this month. One I had planned, which is The Shadow of the Wind by Ruiz Zafon. I'm reading this with Elizabeth Tyree, and we originally said we would just kind of stretch this out over the whole month and divide it into 4 parts. However, we both got done with our first section early, and she's even having a really busy week and still got it done. This is a real page turner, and so we may pick up our pace a little bit and tighten up our schedule so that we finish it a little sooner. I'm not sure. But so far, I am enjoying it. I've read 120 pages, which is right at 25%, and this is really good so far. And the second buddy read, I kind of wormed my way into. My friend Di from Dice's 19 Hearts has been buddy reading the Tolkien books with another friend of hers, and I noticed on a Goodreads update that she had just started The Two Towers, and I read The Fellowship of the Ring last year, or reread it. This is my 3rd time through The Lord of the Rings. I've read them all twice. I've read The Hobbit 3 times, and I had this kind of at the bottom of my list because it is over 400 pages, but there wasn't any real rush to get it reread anytime soon. But when I saw she had just started it, I wrote to her and I was like, hey, you know, I could buddy read this with you. And she's like, well, I'm already buddy reading with somebody else, but, you know, come on, join in. So I'm kind of a third wheel, but I am enjoying it. I have already read 3 chapters. I love The Lord of the Rings, and I have not read them since the movies came out. So this is fun to go back and reread these again, and I'm excited about it. Another book that I've already started that I'm just flying through. I'm almost at 50% of this one. I'm actually reading this on ebook, on Hoopla, and my phone. This is The Bridge to Neverland by Dave Barry and Ridley Pearson. This is the 5th book in the Peter and the Starcatcher series. I didn't even realize there was a 5th book. I had read all 4 of the first books. Actually, I had listened to them on audio, but so far I couldn't find an audio of this. So I'm just enjoying reading this in print. This has a really unique premise. It's kind of a book within a book premise, because our main characters here are modern day kids who have read the Peter and the Starcatcher series and are discovering that it's real. So I don't want to go into any more, but it's like they've sort of been dropped into the book, and what they thought was fantasy is reality. And I'm having a lot of fun with this. I'm just flying through it. I'll probably have this done within another few days, and this is really good. So those are the 6 books that I have started, and as I begin to finish those, I'm not really sure what I will pick up next. If you've watched any of my May wrap-ups, you might have heard me say that I read 4 of the Sunshine State books for 2017-2018, and there are 2 of those that are big enough that I can fit those in this month if I so choose. Now, one of those is The Mark of the Dragonfly by J. Lee Johnson. On Goodreads, this is listed as having exactly 400 pages. When I got the actual book, it's really only about 388, almost 390. And so I kind of went back and forth about whether I should count it as a big book or not. I don't want to go a whole month without reading some of the Sunshine State books because I really want to try to get those read by the time the next school year starts or shortly thereafter. So I'm probably going to go ahead and read this. I did get it on audio CD from the library, and so I will probably go ahead and start this in my kitchen and just count it. You know, it's close enough to 400, and according to Goodreads it is 400. So, you know, when you put it together with Harry Potter, which is 800 and something, it all evens out. So I know I'm being legalistic here, but I think I'm going to allow myself to go ahead and get this one done. And then speaking of being legalistic, I almost wanted to save this one for Tom Topple, but it's like 490 pages, so it's not quite a 500-page book. So I think I'm going to go ahead and get this one done this month as well. This is Randoms by David Lease. This is one of the Sunshine State books for next year. It's a sci-fi adventure story. From the look of it, from the cover, I thought it was going to be a big graphic novel, but it's not. It's a regular novel. I was kind of disappointed. I was kind of hoping for a graphic novel, but that's okay. So I don't really know anything about this. I just know that it's on the list and I need to read it. I've got 2 books that are on my list of 17 standalone books that I'm reading in print this year. I have Spindle's Inn by Robin McKinley and The House at Riverton by Kate Morton. I was just talking to Elizabeth Tyree, and she has this on her TBR, and she said she was kind of feeling this one for September. So I may not rush to read this right now. I may go ahead and put this on hold until September. I'm not sure why she was feeling September. It actually says that the events of this book take place in the summer of 1924. So it might be a good summertime read, but I've got so many other things to read this summer that it's not going to be a big deal to put this one on hold and read it with her. Another possibility is The Hammer of Thor by Rick Riordan. It's the second book in the Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard series. This is my beautiful copy that I got for Christmas, and I haven't read it yet. I did discover that it is available on ebook through Hoopla, and since I am really enjoying having an ebook going, I may go ahead and start this one when I finish The Bridge to Neverland, because it is really good to have an ebook that I can just carry around in my pocket. There are times when it's just hard to carry around a book, so I probably will start this one, if not finish it, in June. One of the rereads I'd like to do this year is Scarlet. It's book 2 in the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. I've listened to the first 4 books on audio, but I've already reread Cinder in print, and now I want to read Scarlet, Fairest, and Cress in print, so that then I could go on to read Winter and Stars Above for the first time. This is 450 pages, even though it doesn't really look like it. I guess it's on thin paper. I feel like when I went through them on audio, I went through really fast. I know that for Scarlet and Cress, I listened to them on overdrive. And, you know, on overdrive, if you're not done, there's no renewing it. It goes away if you don't finish it. And so I just rushed through those 2, and I don't remember a whole lot about them. So we own the print books, and I really want to savor them and read them in print and just pick up on all the little details that I may have missed by listening to them on audio. All right, then one more fantasy book. This is a middle grade book, the first book in the Land of Stories, called The Wishing Spell by Chris Colfer. I've got the first 4 of these books, and I've been looking for an excuse to get started on one of them. This does have over 400 pages, so hopefully I can get to this one this month, and if not, then at some point in the year. This is on my list of series to start this year. Now, most of the books on my June TBR are fantasy, with the exception of the Emilie Richards books, but I do have one other book that is contemporary that I would love to read this month if I could. It's the Mitford Bedside Companion by Jan Karon. I've read all the Mitford books, or rather I've listened to them on audio, and I have never read this. Book is a compilation of quotes and excerpts from most of the books, and I just have never sat down and read it. I plan to reread all the Mitford series in print because I'm only listening to them on audio, but I think I would like to go ahead and just start with this because I think this will get me back into the Mitford spirit, and I will really enjoy reading this. So this is a book that I would really love to get to, and it would be kind of a palate cleanser from all the fantasy and sci-fi that I'm reading this month. And speaking of palate cleansers, I've got a diet book, and this is my only nonfiction book book that I put in the mix. I have actually read this before, Dr. Atkins' New Diet Revolution. I've got several Atkins books, and I picked this one because I'm trying to stick with my theme of reading books over 400 pages or more. I really want to get back into my Atkins groove. I was so successful doing Atkins for almost a whole year. Back in 2015, I lost over 40 pounds, and it was great. And I really want to get back into that again, and I just need the motivation. So I may not read this whole book again, but I will pick it up just to kind of get back in the groove of things and just kind of remind myself of why I want to do it in the first place and the philosophies behind it. So that's what I'm currently reading and my potential TBR for the rest of June. I would love to hear about what you're reading on this fine Friday in June. We've had a week out of school now, and starting next Monday, my daughter Emilie will start summer school. She's going to be doing extended school year, which is something that's available for special needs kids. It's 5 hours in the morning, Monday through Thursday, and she'll be able to ride the bus and ride the bus home, so I won't have to drop everything and go pick her up, and it's going to be great. So she's doing that, and then Katie is going to be going to horse camp, which is a day camp for the most of this coming week, and then a mission trip with church the next week, and then Girl Scout camp the week after that. So I'm not going to see much of her for the next 3 weeks either. But I am going to be taking a tiny break from my channel. My channel's going to be taking about a 6-week hiatus after I get all the videos done that I am working on right now over the next few days. Then I'm going to be taking a few weeks off to get some work done at my house. I will be doing a separate announcement video about that with a little giveaway that I've got planned. So I'm not going away. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going to be present on Twitter and Goodreads. I'm still going to be reading. I just need to stop making videos for a few weeks in order to catch up and get in balance with some of the other parts of my home life. That being said, let me tell you real quick what I plan to read in July, because I will not be doing a TBR video for July. Now, for the first 3 weeks, I am going to be concentrating on the Tony Hillerman books. I have read the first 2 in the Joe Leaphorn and Chi series, and I need to read book 7, which is Skinwalkers, for our July book club. So I plan to read books 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then 7, all before the 3rd Thursday of July. So that is my goal. I only have one of them on audio. The rest I'm going to have to read. They are kind of slow reads for me, but yet they're kind of hard to listen to on audio. There's a lot of Navajo words and just a lot of stuff like that. So it's going to be a slow read, and I may not get them all read in time, but I'm going to make a stab at it. And then probably after that, I will pick up the next book club book for August. That's going to be Annie Freeman's Traveling Funeral by Chris Radish, and I'm going to have to read that in print because I don't have that available on audio. So probably my next audio book at the beginning of July, I will go ahead and start on A Man Called Uwe by Frederick Bachman, because that is our September book club book. So I've already filmed several other videos that I want to get uploaded before I take my break. When it's my last video, you'll know. It'll be an announcement. And I'll tell you about my giveaway that I'm going to be running while I'm on hiatus. So that's all I have for this video. I hope you're having a great day. Have a great weekend. Read a good book, and God bless you.